Good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back as usual, and as usual, give you more headache for you to solve. The headache of today is that if you had a head, to have a headache. In the process of the teaching, over past decades, we try to bring a lot of parallels, a lot of understanding that one not only becomes aware of the potential within himself or within oneself, one becomes aware of how to reach this, how to be able to expand the knowledge of the fields of the body of the man. We know everything, how to use our fingers and toes and leg and heart and ears and eyes and do everything else with it. But now we have to understand the classification, magnetic field strength, of which part connects to what, and how we can use this as part of the structure of the work, that we become part of the structure of the energy side of the universe. The biggest problem for mankind has been that they look at the state of the physicality of the man at the end state, where actually we are part of the structure of the going through, as we said many times before. Now we have to realize, we have to come to the point of understanding that putting methods together, having the methods together, does not make the use of the matter. Till we shape it, till we give it the dimension and direction. We have iron, we have copper, we have zinc. They are individual elements and we can individually pack them together. But when we mix them together as alloys and we melt them, and all we bring them in a condition of whatever, then we put them in a shape, we put them in a box, we make a material out of them. Then the purpose of the material is evident. We say there is so much copper in it, so much zinc in it, so much iron in it, and the rest of it. But in the world of the energy side, we have to say this strength gives copper, this strength of field gives zinc, this strength gives the iron. In the matter state, we speak about tangibility, observation point of view. In the dimension of the energy of the universe, we speak about magnetic field strength. But due to, in any shape or form you put it, magnetic field strength again has accumulation, again has packages, but in fact it has the totality. A plasma of an electron, a plasma of a proton, a plasma of a neutron, a plasma of the fundamental element has the same field strength spectrum as is in the other. It's the volume, the speed of, the connection of. And so what this means, an electron has a magnetic field strength which connects to proton, and has a magnetic field which connects it to neutron. And then And the spectrum of the fields it has, it connects it to the next element, to the next electron, to the next alloy, to the next position in the universe. What this means? This means in a way that an electron of the atom of a hydrogen has the same connection as the soul of the man. The same number of fields. No less, no more. Is the choice of which strength connects with what gives the manifestation of the appearance, manifestation of cooperation of connection, and the rest of it. This is important because when it comes for our transmutation from A to B, every position, every stone, every entity on the surface of the planet or position in the universe has a strength which our soul, which our system already has a connection with. This is not theoretical. This is how we are all connected to each other. The common denominator, field strength, which connects everything, is the line of the strength of the Creator, which we all have a connection to because it's the way we came, that's our direction of the process of the division or whatever. But every sand on the desert of this planet has a specific magnetic field that every soul on this planet has a connection to. Magnetic field, plasma, GPS positioning, and recognition. If man understands this, if man goes to the next step of understanding the whole process, then in the mosaic of the field strength of the universe, we can decide exact position, exact place, not by 5 meters out the way the GPSs are today, to this exact point in a spot we can travel to. We do it in our dream, you call it, with our mother and father, which passed decades ago. In this vast universe, we know where they are. Because we have a dream about them, Mom, because you cannot dream if it wasn't a reality of connection of the soul. She tells you, would you like a cup of coffee? I made you the food you need, how you like, and don't talk to your wife, talk to your husband, and whatever else. She's aware of all your behavior. She's aware of all your problems. She's aware of everything which happens in your life. Because when you connect to that magnetic field, you connect to full spectrum of all. Every single cell, every connection which my cell made in the past 24 hours. When I dreamed the mom the day before, she comes again and says, you went to that place, it wasn't good. Mom, how do you know you died 20 years ago? How do you know what I did yesterday? Because that magnetic field is connected, has a specific strength, has a specific direction and dimension, has a specific field strength, which once is established, is never destroyed. It never has what you call misplaced. Then those of you who are hypocrites, they say, oh, so I have connection to every soul and sand on the moon. Yes, you do. In the coming days, next maybe 24 hours, maybe by Monday, we will run a session with a number of you. And we have set up that parameter in the materials you have received. Because the next lot of you, you're going to hit it on the 2nd of May. And we use the 7 of you to put together the right direction in the right process, in the right manner. In understanding this, then the mystery of how do I know where what it is solved. Your problem is, how do I know the magnetic field of the sand on the surface of the moon? Because we all came from the same division, we came from the same position. We all have connection. In the session which will run in the next few days, we dictate a lot. We want to know how much we can control the whole structure from our end, and how you find us. It's a hide and seek game. The beauty of it is, we'll be interested to see if we can pull you by the leg or we can take you by the head. Do you feel landed or do you think you flew? Now the technology is at that level that we don't talk, we can control. We have all the parameters in our hand to play a game with you. For you to understand that the field strength, you work magnetical through your head, you play gravitational through your leg. Then it comes, how do we recognize? As we said last time, every entity has a magnetical and gravitational passing each other, part of it. This is what the world of science has never taught us. The world of science has never managed, because they never understood. The biggest question in the world of the science of today, but most of the scientists in the world of what I call gibberish science man has made for himself, they cannot, they do not want to understand a simple proposition. And what is this proposition? What does it actually brings us? And the reality is, as we have said many times before, that the structure of the life on this planet has a process. And as this is the plasma, as you call it a magnetical, where we didn't know it comes from the south end, and all your knowledge seekers know it finds its way, it's the same line. And if it gets field strength of the plasma of the hydrogen, which is in the center of it, it gets some more energies added to it. Then it comes out stronger dimension. But the most probable part, which we never been told, is this. It's not all going north out, it's going stronger, coming south in. And where this mix-up takes place in field strength, creates the rotation of the electron, rotation of the proton, rotation of planet, rotation of the galaxies. It's the field strength which we have always ignored this part, due to our education, due to what they have taught us in the world of the science of today. We look at a map, we look at the magnetic field, everything goes like this. No, it doesn't. Because in fact, it's the other way too, which is coming into. You come in as much as you go out. The difference between the two creates a magnetic field positioning of interaction of the totality of the element in dimension of the universal position. This is how your magnetical gravitational positioning decided. Not by the field just coming and going and interacting. The field strength, the gap between the magnetic fields, which we see by iron dust when we use a magnet, that gap is where it's going out. And that gap is where it's coming out and in, depending on the position and the place. And the beauty of it is that every single one of these is connected to something, somewhere. This knowledge of the magnetic field, when even we look at a magnetic field, in the dimension of the space, time, and position, we have to always consider, let me put this in a way that you don't get confused. Every magnetic field traveling the span of the universe possesses a twin system of gravitational to it in respect to the position. The space gap position is the space gap position between the two entities. If the balance between the two is calculated in a direct line, you will know what is a space gap is. You can predetermine. And then in the totality of the knowledge in the future, when man becomes wise to more knowledge of the space of the plasma, working of the plasma, man will find something very interesting. And that is, I have to correct my mistake. And that is that this one. The now the space gap between the average of this one and this one dictates the position in respect to each other, and position that it moves one in respect to another. This knowledge of understanding each magnetic field has equal and opposite magnetic field gravitational to it, then will take man to the next step of the knowledge of the universe. You know this as knowledge seekers very well. You've seen it, you have played it, maybe never understood it. When we played the star formation, the magnetic gravitational field gap between these is irrelevant, because in totality how they interact with each other decide the position of the controlling field. And in the interaction of these with themselves dictates the position, dimension of the whole entity as a whole. We call this singularity of, we call this the mass of, we call this the weight of. And once we understand this, once we understand the process of the interaction of the field in gravitational and magnetical of the same field strength, man will open a new chapter in the world of science and technology of the creation. In a way, you put a female and a male together, what do you get? A middle range, a child. This child now has a new strength of its own, a new dimension of its own. You have to find the soul of it. You have to find the field strength of the common denominator between the two. But somewhere down the line, this line and this line both connect to the creator. Creator of the structure. It could be a body of the man, it could be a body of the galaxy, it could be a body of the universe, it could be a body of the universe. . This is in the world of chemistry, you call it isotopes. In the world of energy, we call it field strength difference. If the magnetical and the gravitational field strength varies slightly, now you have a different position slightly. These two, in their interaction with what they create, imbalance in origin of the line, the middle line, will decide itself if I'm going with this strength or if I'm going with this strength. And then the interaction of the field between these decisions will interact with this and decides which way the two will go with each other with the matter object we create. If you can replicate this, understand this, just don't ever look at the magnetic field, look at this gravitational field at the same time, find the strength of it, then man has entered, as I said, into the real world of the position, dimension, field strength, transportation, transmutation, anything he likes. This has one advantage. If man understands the process of the addition of the field strength, somewhere in between can interact, create a field which can add to this or take from this, which can change the direction of the motion of itself. And now this new entity is a parallel of this and a parallel of this, and in how it decides to go is with another entity which lives next door with the same dilemma. The space technology of today does not have no limitation on matter structure, because it's you who decides what gravitational magnetic field is between the two, and then this decide what matter is created in interaction with the fields of its environment. Up to now, we said this is the table of the chemistry of the materials, and that's it. There are other materials, we call it fancy materials. There are other materials, we call them rare earth materials. There are other materials which we might produce one day. If you understand this principle, you can produce it any day. You don't need to go in the depth of the universe to find a new material, because you understood the process of the creation, you understand the process of field of magnetical and gravitational interaction with each other, you can create any matter. This is how we have created structure of materials. We are trying to 10th, 11th and 12th of May to show the showcases of Keshe Foundation internationally, worldwide, in an open demonstration for the world to see. One of the structures of this is production of the elements of the universe even we do not know exist. All of you can come and see it. Travel the span of the planet and see for the first time the knowledge will be confronted, put right across the whole of the planet to see. Change in the world of science and technology, cosmic rays, understanding of the new technology which allows us to create materials which we could not imagine even exist. We have to rewrite the tables, because this material, we don't know what it is, we have to find its value. In the past, Few days in the laboratories of the Keshe Foundation, we have developed a material. We ourselves puzzled, wondered what this material is. And we are producing it in mass. We are creating it in mass. It's very easy because now we have to find magnetic field, the strength of this material. Known. It's unknown material to us. We have to find its gravitational magnetic field and is growing like mushroom. Does any of you know what this is? Because we have developed a new material. And look, it's falling off the sky. What is this material? Do we have the knowledge? Do we know what it is? Is it a chalk? Is it candy? Is it nano of a material manifested itself in this condition? And as you can see on our tables, it's a lot of it. But the funny thing is, this thing is created near the latest flight system which is developed by the Keshe Foundation. Our system creates a specific gravitational magnetic field with the interaction of the plasma of the planet creates a new material. I know what it is because there are certain characteristics. As we know, you see the dust on the table. There's a little fly there on the table. You can see everything else. And you can see the size in comparison. As the gravitational field of the system has led to the demise of this animal. To what extent the system is creating its dimension. We don't have chemistry labs in the universe, but we have understanding of the magnetic field of the universe, which we can make in chemistry. Is understanding the science of creation, not by imagination, but by reality of understanding the totality of it. Is this the future of the man entering an atmosphere, dying because he doesn't understand? It did not comprehend, it did not create the field of, or like the other animals we have in our oceans and our environment, adopt, become, we have. And what do we say to them? The most funniest thing that the biologists tell us, this animal is from ancient time. No, this animal doesn't belong to this planet. That's why you call it ancient time, because you never understood this animal has adapted itself to life on this planet. That's why you cannot find the background to it. It has jumped in, has managed to find magnetic fields of the planet, the environment of this planet, that can connect to its soul, that the soul allows the physicality to live in the shape and the form of a matter state in the plasma condition of the entity of this life. Aliens are not just those who land here in the aircrafts or in a UFO. Aliens were by feel the strength passing through as a body of the entity of life. on this planet become a stone. This is what man has to understand. This is what should not be the future of man in space. What is and how is and to what extent do we understand the knowledge of creation depends on how we understand the interaction of the fields of the universe. Why this matter is taking shape. It didn't fall off the sky, this shape. It started like one of these dusts. And life in the womb of the mother has managed to gather enough that it's made this shape. When I made these materials for the first time, nearly 2 decades ago, I wondered, how do I respect them? I didn't throw them out. They're still carried in a box somewhere in our laboratories. Alive, 20 years old, sitting in the box. One of the first things we did when we set up the new flight system, we put papers around. What are we creating? When you look at the new flight system set up for flight, which will be shown sooner or later, is my habit. I can't hold secrets, or in a way keep a lot of things out of it, but I keep a lot of secrets from it because man is not ready for it. We have developed the technology. We have developed the technology, which means a working system which can create food, energy, gas, motion, emotion, water, and everything else. We have created the planet Earth. When you sit in the panel, in front of the panel, you see the weight of it, you see the gases it produces, you see the energy, voltage, you see everything, the magnetic field strength. It shakes, we know. But man is not ready for such a system unless we hit the man in the head with, to be seen, to understand, to be taken further. This is the future of man in space. And only thing which will stop man to become passenger of universe is his own ego, his own lack of understanding, and denying the truth about his own creation. The most beautiful thing for me, if you understand it, is this shape. How you see different sizes appear, different shapes appear, and how this will look in the orbit of the elements. Understanding the totality of the process, understanding of what you create in what direction. If you understand this process, if you understand this creation of material in this shape, and we create an environmental condition, then you see how the rings of Saturn are created, how meteorites and asteroids are created in the environment of the body of the planet. We call them asteroids, we call them meteoroids. What about the ones which travel between the galaxies? What about those which become matter state between the universes? We call them universoid or cosmosoid. At the end, we have to understand what they are, because one of these little things enters with energy inside your brain, you're done. You go from cat to a mouse because the energy of the inside has changed. Dynamic structure of the magnetic field dynamic structure of the interaction of the magnetic field, dynamic structure of the outcome of their interactions, it always leads to creation of new material, new dimensions. It's you who have to understand. It's you who has to go into the depth of understanding which field in my body, in my soul, in the strength of plasma field of me, will connect with which one of these stones and which one of these materials. Can I create? And when I create, would one of these stones will move? What is my position with this? And with the new system we have, it's not preset anymore. We set what we want, the way we want, how we want, and as an independent energy source, we dictate the gravitational fields and magnetical fields in any dimension as a field or array. Which means if we tune to a magnetic field of array which are connected to us, you go wherever we go. We are the caravan like camels, one connected to the other. We're going to test this theory the following week on the 2nd of May, because the 6-7 people which are in this group become the herdsman for the others in the group, which is much bigger. And the 7 have to decide where they are going, who wants to be with them. We create the captains of the travel, and then we become the head of the herds of the soul of the man in which direction. One of the 7 says, I want to go to Mars. The other 7, I'm going to take your family to show you my mother. The other one says, I'm taking you to planet Zeus. And you all, in the 2nd of May, have to sign for it. You are going to Zeus, who's going to see the grandmother, and who's going to somewhere else. We start establishing the structure of the captains of what we call transmutation system of the future. This is why we canceled last week's test. Because instead of putting you in and then doing it again, we have opportunity. We saw the what was missing in the structure. Now you give your soul, you give your energy to your captain. It's his responsibility to take you across. So the first 7, what we call captains of the future space technology, is already decided. Your soul brought you. We didn't. We allocated one, Rick Raymond. The rest have been there, and it was his soul nominated itself. We just explained the word. The future of the man, the only path of the survival of man in space is if the man understands the working of the magnetic gravitational field of the universe. Matter state, plasma state, energy state, does not matter what state. How do the fields flow in this space? Man knows one, but ignores the other. Because to understand it in the energy, doesn't exist. To understand in the matter state, I can explain to you as much as I like. In the world of the matter state, we have come up with very good ideas, with the good solutions for a lot of things, but we cannot. When it comes to the point of what we call energy, plasma, we are lost. Our scientists are as good as a bunch of camels sticking one in the back of the other. What does this mean? In the world of energy, in the world of today's science of the man, we have created a word. We call this potential energy. Then we become very clever. We call the speed of whatever goes from here to here the current of. And here we call it the speed in the river for the water. And we are very clever. In electronic, we call it current. But it's the same thing, flow of. In the world of man, we call it this, the height level, potential difference. And in material of the energy, we call it voltage. Now, we have a new game in town. One goes that way, one goes this way. In the world of electronics or electrons, we call this the eddy current. In a way, this is magnetical. The current, you call it ampere. This is gravitational, we call it eddy current, and anything else you want to call it. So, if you understood this, the gap between the magnetical and gravitational connection of the field will give you the field strength difference, the potential of the magnetic field. And the speed of the field will give you this current. So we can, in a way, dictate and understand the power of the plasma by one of the elements on one side and the power of the elements on the other side, and the difference gives us the destination point of field strength, of power of the magnetic field, gravitational field we have in hand. There is no difference in the world of science. If it happens in the matter energy side, it happens in energy matter side too. And once we understand this, once man completes this cycle, on the energy side, man has conquered half of the way to travel the span of the universe instantaneous. Access the energy of the knowledge of the universe instantaneous. There is no language classes in the universe. When I was little, we used to go to English classes. 10 years I went to English classes. I learned Farsi, English in a Farsi accent, and then when I landed the first year, first day in the classroom in Barnet College in London, the guy went blah, 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 blah. What happened to 10 years I studied? It was blah, 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 blah. Black boy next to me says, what's your name? Your name. I never heard that accent. I didn't know he's from a Londoner with a Cockney accent. Then imagine what happened, who's going to translate for you with all the creatures of the universe you come across. There are no languages in school of the universe. There is no language in school nowhere in the universe, as there is no churches and no temples. If you understand the field strength, you gather the knowledge of, understanding of, and then you understand this is the field strength between these two, and the current flows is the emotion of happiness. I have it, he has it, every creature in the universe has the same. We have to extend our knowledge, understanding of, instead of putting all this hullabaloo in the hand of the man, with Earth and all the magnetic fields of it going and making it or whatever, understand one of them only. That's all you need to know. These two. What goes in and which one comes out. These two are the source of knowledge. These are the source of the totality of knowledge a man needs, because once you understood this one, you understand the rest. Problem we have this. Why we head to this way with our knowledge is because we never, as I always said many times, connected the atmosphere of this planet to the gravitational field of this planet. We always measure gravity, but what about the repulsion? Because the balance between these two decides I stay attached to this planet. If our scientists understand that when you say gravity is 1g, magnetical is what g? This is the dilemma you have. This is the dilemma why man science has a big problem, makes rockets, makes Mr. What do you call it, NASA and the rest, in a game of propulsion and bending it like the Chinese do and done for centuries. Because we just want to overcome the gravity. You don't need to worry about the gravity. Find out what's the magnetic of it. It pushes you away. It brings you to the destination. Now find out this magnetic field you get on. Does it go to the moon strength, or is the one which goes to the planet Zeus? That's it. You're on the wind of the field of the universe. You don't need to burn anything, because this field is going, I just jump on it. We have created a system in our lab. This is what you saw, this material, which works with this. We can adjust the magnetical to gravitational, where the magnetical goes this way and we create a gravitational within the other way. There is no rotating material in it. And if I want to jump from calcium to, let's say, iron, I know what to add to this center field. We divide the system that interfere with this and makes it to copper. When we show you the system, when, luckily, I don't know if when we're going to show you the system, you will see one machine with different element, nitrogen, whatever. On our control panel of our system, we dictate what we produce. So now we got to the position that we dictate what materials, what gases, whatever we want to produce. I'm short of oxygen in the system. Passengers from the Earth are going to die. I just adjust the system. Oxygen is increased. We mastered the dimension of production of rare earth materials, which you don't get. Now we master the structure of the gaseous. When you see the panel, you understand exactly what. Those of you who came to London, when in our Abasolo meeting, you saw on the top on the panel, there were scales of change of weight. Now we do the same thing, the same system with change in the dimension. We can decide to lift, to land. The system, while it's leading or landing or going, it produces materials we need. You've seen the other material I showed you, the white one. Somebody wrote this is a chalk. If this is a chalk, you'll choke on it because you haven't understood yet. The advancement in technology is that we have reached a position that one system can do exactly what planet Earth does. Even position itself in respect to the Creator. Now you understand how scientific we are. We are not what we call bunch of fallacies and promises. We are scientific. We are structured scientific. We work scientific. And the knowledge of the man under the banner of the Keshe Foundation, on the banner of the research and development of the understanding the work of the universe, has reached a position that can produce the materials of the universe at will. And we know how we can bring this possible, how the technology has developed to the extent that we do not need to jump into something else. We just need to understand the position of, the understanding of what we create, how we create, the way we create, and what we want to create. This is the understanding of the work of the universe. This is understanding how systems are set to produce what they want to produce, what we want to produce, the way we want to produce, and in the dimension and the direction we want to produce. In the process of understanding this work of the plasma of the field, you decide by the strength of your own dimension what to produce, how to produce. It's not anymore this and that. We have within the structure of the knowledge and technology, understanding of how to create these things. It hasn't been easy and never fell off the sky. We had to understand every step of it. We had to understand how to process it. We had to understand while I'm producing this gas, while I'm producing in this material, why I'm in that position, what's going to happen with me. There we are. Now you can see. 35th of war, 18th of war, 25. We produce this gas, oxygen and a CO2. We flip, you can see 556, 665. And then we can control the nitrogen, the hydrogen, the helium, the CO2, and everything else, which is on another page of this control. Then, if you're clever, you realize one thing from this. We have the oxygen. We have the hydrogen. You see CO2 and CO. We can produce carbon in our system. And something very funny, the only thing that is left is look at the bottom. On the second page of the system, you can see the other part of this system, which I show you now, is very simple. I'm going to go out and add to it and come back, and then you understand how advanced we are. This is a one screen. Because we can't fit in all the materials in, we have the second screen. They are from two different birth rates, nitrogen 81. You have the nitrogen, you have the oxygen, you have the hydrogen, and you have a carbon. We have the knowledge to create protein. We have the knowledge to create life on this planet, on the condition of this planet. We have become the creator, or controller of creating life. Do you want me to create the amino acid of your liver or your soul? Scientifically, we are not rabbis, bunch of crooks, and one of them died last Sunday called the Pope. Understanding this, understanding the control, and by adjusting our system, we can produce anything we like. So, because we understood that fundamental position of gravitational and magnetical, we can create that. We can create amino acid of any element, any life, anywhere in the universe, because we control it within. Now, technology has become a creator. We build robots. Now we can build lives which are not to be robots, but lives which live a peaceful life. Add water to it, which is not very difficult. You have a hydrogen, you have a O2. God help you with the rest of it. We can make that amino acid dynamic. Add few little bits which I know how to add. Give it intelligence, give it emotion. Who needs to make robots? We can preset to produce a material with emotion, with energy, with creational power itself. That becomes part of the new chips which have emotion. In the next few years, microchips will not be Silicon Valley, will be empty, because those who understand how this works, those who understand how to transfer this technology into matter state of it, you create a brain, the soul of the system, which matches every other man. And this is the future of the technology. This is the future of the science which we have set out. This is why last week or the week before I told you we need 500,000. These equipments are not cheap. These things are not set. And there are one or two companies in the world who can give us more accurate. Even with this, we have a problem. Research and development needs solid financing, needs solid understanding to finance the right way. Very soon, we play this, you will see the machine and we adjust it. We see the hydrogen goes, becomes CO2, and then we change it, becomes HF. If any of you knows what HF is, then you understand we have access to production of any plutonium, uranium, nuclear material in the world. This is the material in your cooling system in your fridges. Now you have to understand why we need to understand precisely what gives us what emotion strength is, that it becomes pattern of our life. It becomes like the way you remember something. If I need potato, I have to get up, go in the kitchen, in the drawer, there is a package, potatoes in it. Your memory will remember exactly what field strength, gravitational, magnetical is of the potato. You don't need to move, you just connect and it comes. The physical walk, it changes with connection of talks and energy. Now you understand how advanced the technology is and how we invest to bring man to that point. In London, we showed you how it moves. In Sanya, we showed how we create a connection of you set different machines. Now you see how we can support it. We can support the physical life and we can support the energy life, which is the soul of the man. Because we have the equipment of it, we understand it. And if any of you say, how do you measure the field strength or whatever? Those of you who were with us in the Sensano, we measured 129 Tesla. We still have those machines which we invested thousands for it, nearly a year for it to be manufactured. So we can measure the field of the strength of your soul. We can measure the field of happiness. We can measure the field of joy, giving and taking. This is how when I said the guy in front of me in the sun, I said he's here to kill me. And at the end, he ended up the guy who was poisoning me. Plus my ex-wife having a hand in all of it. Belgians. This is what the technology is. No mystery. Understanding every position and position of it. Understanding, if you look at the other one, which I showed you, look at this one. It says 556. If I go out and come back in, and you noticed the other picture, 556 on this one, 655 on this one. What does this give us? What new creature? What magnetic field strength? This is where the future of the science sits. Not just seeing the numbers. What does number mean? Which connection to where, to which planet, to which soul, to which cell of my body? Nowadays we take a blood, you have a calcium there extra, you have zinc, your iron is good. We have to produce systems which measures the energies of the cells of the body of the man. And that energy tells us why a lump is created. Somebody call it a cancer because energy is not correct or happen to be too gravitational. It creates the black hole, it pulls everything in, is becoming a new star. That star created needs energy, so it gets grower, it takes energy from you. No man has ever died on this planet of cancer. Man die of lack of energy because that guy is taking black hole all the energy. And then it's spreading more black holes around the body because this cancer is metastasized because we never understood. With this technology, with this system, we measure that metastasization. You ask the man, do you want to live or do you want to die? He decides. I gave that chance to John many times. It's your decision, not mine. His desire to go was bigger than to stay. It wasn't that technology wasn't there, it was at his disposal. The decision was the decision of the soul. I sat him in front of me in this. I said to him, John, I can interfere with every part of your body, but it's not my right. You decide. We can control emotion. We can control production of materials, isotopes, universes. At the end, it's the decision of the soul which decides to accept or to reject. The knowledge is so deep and is reaching deeper and deeper as our scientists understand more and more that sometimes I'm frightened even to explain to new knowledge seekers at the world of science what can be done. The question is, them, how much money can I make? I become very rich. We have reached a state of knowledge that we can create creatures. We can create conditions that creates itself a dimension of life. What are we going to do? We were happy to make robots. We were happy to make a dog robot, a cat robot, a waiter robot. Now we're reaching the point of we can create life, not as children, but condition of environment. What is ethical responsibility of the man? Do we release this knowledge or do we hold it back? Do we go to the stage that hopefully man will come to understand the reality about the creation, or do we stop man to get there because man is not ready, and then the time goes, Mr. Keshe died, the knowledge was shelved, and another abuse for centuries to come? Do we, can we, have we got the right to withhold the knowledge? Or is our responsibility to make knowledge available that no one is left behind? And the decision is ours. Because you have seen the gas, you have seen the waters many of you produced, you have seen the material produced, you have seen the effect field of 129, and you've seen other bits which leads to the creation of life and intelligence which we can control every part of it. You went and got pregnant by insemination. The new technology can make you pregnant with a field energy you never even had sex. Virgin Mary. You can even now, if you understand it, make a man pregnant, forget about the woman. Where does society sit with this knowledge? Or do we abandon this knowledge? We just show you the lift and you're happy, we can fly. Or as a responsible understanding of the knowledge, we have to create everything. You see in the gas, the other picture of the white thing I showed you, the material. The other side, you've seen the energy, and in the other presentation, when the level of understanding was, you saw lift and motion. We have created a living planet, living system in the universe which can create its own things, has no connection to no power supply of the earth in the matter state. The biggest question for me for the past few days is, can I release the rest of the knowledge tonight? And I made a decision in the past 24 hours, yes. We bring the revolution in science right on the nose of the whole world. travel to destination, we tell you, and you will see there everything which one needs. If you are very materialistic, oh, that makes material. If you're very materialistic, oh, I want to see the gas. If you're materialistic, oh, that's the water. But if you understand it, earth, wind, and fire. Now we have the knowledge of creation, and you've seen it today on your own screens. The knowledge is to understand how it went from 665 to another one, which is 556. At 1013 was 556. At 1534 is 665. Do I need 5 hours to change it? What happened between these two? Because the oxygen level stayed the same. The carbon, CO2, led to creation of new life. And then we saw the nitrogen. In what you have is oxygen, CO2, and you have the other elements, you can create life. And you produce a CH3, you can give it life, complete with its own energy system, both connected to the universal dimension of the fields and one to the creator, which is the essence of creation. And nowadays, you can see all of this on 2 or 3 screens in front of you. So we can decide this life in this machine is going to be a human with laughter, and this is how it feels, and it produces the body to be all bones and structures. This is what the future of the space technology is. It's not to get you to A to B, I'm happy, and I can make gold. Man now has access to the gold of the creation, which is creation of life. And we have the machine, these figures and data which we have shown is done by machines, we can control it. This is where the morality of the heads of states come in. And the nations decide on the future of humanity in where we go. And this is where the future sits. Collectively, we decide in where man goes, and we create the condition, we create the field strength that we all have in common, and we all decide no more destruction, no more killing, because this field will be deleted from the life of the cycle of the amino acid of the man. We put a sink into it, we make a black hole which is just collects that field of strength, which we call it killing. Doesn't come by gases. It comes by understanding the process of the field of strength which leads to that connection. Don't want to eat anymore because I've received my field energies. Because I have tuned to the field of strength which delivers to my soul, to my central field, what the rest of my physical dimensions satellites need. You need one sun to run the whole of solar system. Jupiter doesn't get instructions from somewhere else on positioning. Saturn doesn't get position instructions from somewhere. They get the structure, instruction, life, position according to the mother, the sun. How they behave, how many satellites they make, and how each one lives. As I've said many times, the sun is your soul in the center, is not imaginary somewhere else. And then your Jupiter is your kidney, your Saturn is your heart, and the rest. We just given different name to the same organ, the same structure. And now we have the capability to change the future of man by directly interacting with the field emotion of his life. Now you understand why in all the teachings I push, I try to get you to understand the field strength of the emotion. Now we're developing systems which we can now control the emotion, direction of emotion, and bring to man dimension that you'll never kill. Then we let the man free in the universe of creation. But scientists of the man have to understand it, otherwise there will be another job. You flip up somewhere else. The technology, the advancement in technology is so vast that it scares us even to bring it to public, but we have no choice. It'll change the economy of the world the man has built for itself. It'll change the structure of the world leadership the man has made. For itself. How to rule that one.
Mr. Keshe, we're losing some voice there.
Man has to rise and in this process, man will come to a point where the creation, the dimension, as I said, man has to rise. The dimension of understanding is, shall be, and it'll be.
Recording in progress.
On man itself. How do we write in the future in what we did in the past to ourselves? And what damaged soul we send in the universe, which is aware of the damage, but he cannot remember the damage. It's not just getting the man not to kill physically, it's erasing this from the soul of the man, which has become part of it. That in other dimensions doesn't lead to problem. This is why this new technology is introduced. We are not searching to give you a machine which gets gas, mixed materials. Some of it, it's a choke up, I know. If this is choke, God bless you. We haven't made the system to show you 1 flies. We haven't given a system to measure 129 Tesla. You're developing a technology that the man can change the strength of his soul to stop killing. Then man is free. Then the doors of the jail of village of the earth will be opened up when everybody is out of the castle. But it has to be done by men scientists that they understand it. It has to be done by man accepting that there is another way to create, sustain, support, enjoy life, the way the universe is done, than rather than man. Something has happened to me from when I was a child. And I explain to you, it might sound funny, but it has a lot of meaning behind it. We've seen many pictures of the aliens. Have you seen any of them fat? They all have no slim skeleton because they have no stomach structure, because they don't digest, they have nothing to digest. It's just that doesn't exist. They work through the central energy. That's the body you get. The fatness and the layers of our stomach is because it has to accommodate intestines and all the things made to digest the energy of life. Next time you look at the picture of the aliens, Americans, or whatever it tells you, see which one has a stomach, what belly is sticking out. Where do they store their food? Where do they digest their food? Or have they learned to use a central system that uses the energy of the environment than killing to get? In the coming time, we teach you more. In coming time, we try to raise the level of understanding. And then we move to the next cycle. And that cycle, where you get out of the door of this village of earth, that's the time when I say goodbye and Mitra takes over. That's the job of the daughter of Mitra and Nandai. I have to teach you how to drive. The one who shows you the road is her, not me. And she's amongst you, so it means you don't have much time before you get to that point.